Thank you for having us, Arnold. So the Shared Value Africa initiative, we are founded with the mandate that to really create growth in Africa, business has to align their profit to social impact. That, simply put, profit with purpose is what we call it. And the idea behind today's business breakfast here at Serena was really to bring together young entrepreneurs, to introduce them not only to the concept of shared value, how they can start thinking about implementing that strategy in their business, in their startups, in their young age, so to speak, in their careers, but also to have them look at how further collaboration and building networks and building other ecosystems can create this growth throughout Africa.
Leben, I just want a bit of what the question to her, but also you gave very interesting remarks earlier, and I want people watching us to know that what's the core value of a business?
Well, thank you so much, Arnold, for having us. To Vuyo's point, shared value at the core of it is profitability. So there's no way you can embrace these values without a profit mandate. So it is fundamentally important that all these young entrepreneurs that are coming together to keep that in mind. This is not a feel-good factor. It's actually about building a scalable, longer-term business. So at the core of it all, it is driven by a profit mandate. So that is number one. Now, to your question and to what exactly we do as Safegas in terms of embracing this key principle, is we look at the gas space in general as the telecommunication of our time. It is fundamentally going to shape households, how they interact, how we're building. The policy in Rwanda is to build upwards. So you're not going to be taking your sack of charcoal upstairs and all that. So we look at it from a holistic standpoint and then put, of course, with a profit-driven approach at the center of it all, and see how we can grow this business to tackle the environmental issues that are ongoing right now, but at the same time guaranteeing returns for the investors. So we're very, very excited about this, and we look forward to really truly transforming lives in Rwanda.
Jacqueline, bringing you into the conversation now, are we able to have both profits while also thinking about issues like environmental issues, climate change, at the same time for young businesses?
Yes. I do believe that to both sides, you can have a profit, but also when you're tackling social impact, like climate change. Like for us as a Western Zone, we are working on the waste management through connecting waste producers, household, and recycling artists. Those are repairs, industries, scrubbers. But also through doing this, we are looking on what most of the African countries and even our countries have been faced for a long time, where the main problem is about collecting waste in more efficient way, but also how can we turn our waste into money, our trash into money, based on a high rate of limited resources we are having. So in that way, I do believe that both social impact and profit are really matching together, but all the important is about the passion and the mission which is behind of what you're doing. You need a profit so that you can be survived at the market and to make sure that your company has a sustainability. So in that way, you need a return, but you need also to work hard for the social impact you are impacting on.
How are you able to balance passion, the need for profit, and conscious shared value?
Quite honestly, definitely passion is key, but also it needs to be blended with a few other components for it to truly deliver that dividend, let me put it that way. If you look at the landscape, I'll be specific with my space, which is LPG and cooking gas. We are actually having a growth crisis. The point is, we are struggling to meet demand because, number one, there is government policy that is aligned to the SDGs, but also there's also a push to modernization where You just have to transform. It is exactly your classic telecommunication story, where everybody has to adapt. So that is number one. And then with the point there that I'm trying to make is innovation is absolutely key. So you can have all the necessary passion, but you need to have the absolutely great idea. So young entrepreneurs need to focus on innovation, make sure they have a killer idea then that is easily bankable. For example, in our space, we absolutely have no issue of capital. So we actually turning away capital. So yeah. So again, it goes hand in hand with identifying the right sector and matching it, like Jacqueline definitely said, with the right passion. Because in the end, the business will pass, but the person, the driver will always be there. So you need to integrate these two, and then definitely the marriage, you'll have a killer product, definitely put money on the table, and everybody is happy. But again, in the end, it has to deliver that public good to fundamentally transform lives in a meaningful manner. I mean, this whole notion where people have to rely on government. Governments don't generate wealth. Money or wealth is created by businesses. So, and businesses have to make profit for governments to be able to tax them. And then from there, you know, everything else, you know, that amazing story trickles down from there. So we have to understand, and entrepreneurs need to be passionate, yes. Right idea, absolutely, yes. And again, I think number 3, and most importantly, they need to constantly invest in themselves. You need to be better. I mean, it's it's the wild, wild west out there. You need to be very, very good. You need to constantly improve on yourself. You need to be better than the next person.
Well, just to come to you, the two have talked about passion. I want you to just give us a bit more about shared value. And the reason for this is, aren't we risking it being another buzzword? We've had philanthropy in the past. We've had CSR campaigns as being part of, and even when young businesses are there and you're telling them things like value, right? I find that very luxurious. It's something the gigantic companies do, not the small companies yet. Yeah. So what is at the core of that shared value?
Absolutely. So it's actually, especially what Liben and Jackie are saying now, at the crux of shared value is aligning your business strategy to fixing a fundamental social issue. You know, because with that, then you bring in your innovation that Liban was talking about. You bring in sustainability, because then you're able to earn a profit, you know, in an ongoing manner. So what shared value is about is, it's beyond philanthropy. It is beyond CSI, where it is, that tends to be a one-way giving, you know, kind of transaction, you know, which is great, which is really, you know, we needed a lot of that in Africa, not taking away from that. But where now, as a business person, if you are now surrounding or focusing your profits, right, on creating social value, that's when we talk about shared value. And I understand what you're saying about how, you know, sometimes buzzwords come in and out of the sector, CSI, CSR, which sometimes tend to be, you know, tick boxing exercises, whereas the key driver of shared value is, what is your purpose as an organization, being a purpose-driven organization. Because if, when you start that journey, you can answer what your purpose is, your reason for existence, you are already moving in a specific direction away from just CSI, which tends to belong in one department of an organization, whereas shared value is a top-down strategy that lives throughout the organization and led by the leader of that organization.
And I just want to end with you. Unfortunately, this conversation has to come to an end. We have the Share Value Africa initiative happening in Kigali in June. What should we expect from that summit?
Quite excited about the Africa Shared Value Leadership Summit. This year is our 4th one, taking place, of course, in Kigali, one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. That is our flagship event, where we are able to bring together business sector to talk about best practice in creating shared value, learnings in creating social impact, and how through our solution seeking sessions, everyone is able to come together and really look at what are some of Africa's biggest problems, and how business is working at resolving those problems and promoting growth throughout the continent.